beautiful butterflies in transformation. You with Tanisha Ali. That's the lovely Albie in the background, constantly protesting. Please excuse her. Talking about a very controversial topic today, but one that we need to dialogue about. We're living in the age of transparency. It's time to come out of the dark. It's time to start exposing things. Serious about this. If you have not purchased my book, Manifesting Your Masterpiece, get on the bandwagon, get your copy. Make sure you don't forget to go back to Amazon and give that 5-star review. We're talking today about the Sisterlocks fallacy. It's time for you to free yourself. It's time for you to free me. It's time for you to free your friends. It's time for you to free the locticians that you've been working with from the tyranny and the oppressiveness of a brand that may no longer be meeting the needs of its clientele. Let's deal with the issues today. That's what I'm here for. Bringing it to you every day, doing the research that I need to do the research on to help you think outside the box. That's what this is about, helping you to think outside the box. If you resonate with me, please check out my Butterfly Transformations channel. That's where we get it in and we talk about real life stuff on your spiritual journey, whether it's relationships, whether it's mental illness, whether it's how to go on your spiritual journey and do your meditation, whether it's ascending, whether it's, going within and doing your shadow work and healing transgenerational drama, all the stuff you might see a counselor or a psychiatrist for. It's time for you to start doing the work and self-healing. Why? Because you were given the power by God to do so. So see me on that channel, Butterfly Transformations. If you like my work, please support my work by sending a love donation, or you can join patreon.com. In the description, all you got to do is click on that little down arrow and it'll take you to all my links for all the things I do, whether you want to come to my online school and learn tarot, or learn how to get your mind right, or learn how to divest of a dream-killing relationship, or learn how to do some sexual cord cutting, whatever it is you're looking for. Come to my online school, take a class, see how you feel about it. Let me know. Okay, on to the Sisterlocks fallacy. Why am I calling it a fallacy? It's a fallacy not because the process, the proprietary method, or the brand itself is a fallacy. I love what this person has done. This person has taken something that is a viable product or method, packaged it and sold it to make money. That's a beautiful concept. That's a capitalistic concept. Everybody has to earn a living. There's nothing wrong with that. God gave us a beautiful mind. It's on you if you're not doing anything with that mind. No problems with that. Giving Black women an opportunity to claim their hair, giving us an opportunity to grow abundant locks and walk around and feel good about it, giving you options that you didn't have before the brand came on the scene. I love that. I give homage to that, and you should too. Never forget that. So she is not the problem. We are the problem. Or the brand is not the problem. We are the problem. We are the problem because we fail to think. We're like sheep. I always talk about the sheep or the cattle being led to slaughter, and it's not until the neck is slit and they're looking up at the sun, or it's not until the neck is slit that they actually can look up at the sun and feel the glory of God. They can see the beauty of the sun and the sky. They never looked up. They never looked up. You never get out of that box. You never get out of that paradigm. You keep following that shit that people told you was right, what you needed to believe, how they raised you, and all that other crazy stuff. You keep being like a blind person. You keep taking on what your forefathers have taught you instead of thinking for your damn self, getting out of that box or that hex that somebody has put you in. A hex is a box with no windows. If you're in that box and you don't raise up, or you don't try to climb out of it, you're never going to see what's outside of that box, right? That's just the way life is. Most people live their life in a hex or in a bubble, and they create a new spell, a magical spell for themselves every day that they get up and believe that the only thing that exists is what is inside of those four walls. It is the most miserable existence on the planet. Open your mind. Expand your mind. I think it was in the last video this card came up. Exploration. Explore the world outside of you for new ideas. Explore your inner world and decide what it is you really want. So the brand is not the problem. You're the problem. You're the problem because you forgot Interlocking has been around since the beginning of time. Okay, that's not a new concept. For the living time that black folks had nappy hair, we've been trying to figure out how to groom it, what to do with it. To take the Sisterlocks method and forget that it has some individual unique characteristics which make it what it is, but to take the method, it's kind of like Kim Kardashian trying to put that cornrow in her head, my daughter said, and call it something else instead of a cornrow. And everybody in America getting upset because she didn't call it a cornrow, and we've been doing this forever. It wasn't anything new about what she was doing. Well, she probably will take that concept and make billions off of it, or she'll take it, she'll give it a name, she'll give it notoriety, and then everybody will be putting it in their hair. Caucasian people additionally, and they will call it something else, and they will not call it the cornrow. But it doesn't mean that it's right. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's wrong, depending upon how you think and where you're stuck in your level of evolving. Everything will always evolve. Pretty soon, what we call Jews won't be called Jews anymore, because too much time would have gone by. People won't remember what the initial word meant. Just like they used to be called the Israelites or Hebrews. People stopped using those terminologies, but it doesn't change the fact that there's a certain journey that mankind goes through. And at that time, society calls those things whatever they call them. But just because I come up in 2020 and I invent something new doesn't mean that thing was never around again. It means that I added a little tweak to it. I put my little brand on it, my little fingerprint, my energetic fingerprint, and now I can package it and present it to you, and I can sell it to you through marketing, and it's the marketing that will determine what type of box you're going to be in. So this world we live in today, y'all, requires you to think. If you can't think, you're not going to be able to survive. If you can't think, you're not going to make money in a free way. If you can't think, people are going to think for you. If you can't think, people are going to manage your life, and you won't be in the driver's seat. So this is about understanding that we have to get away from that name. We have to remember that your locticians are doing microlocks already. They're doing micro braids already, which means that they are doing Sisterlocks already. They may not have the Sisterlocks grid. There are many of sisters out there that have designed a better grid than the Sisterlocks grid. So you need to be talking to them about the type of grid they will use. You need to be talking to them about the type of grid you want. And you need to find someone who thinks outside the box so they can give you what you want, because maybe you've decided, I don't like that part down the center of the front of my head. I want my part to be like so because I wear my hair to this side. I've never had use for the part down the center because y'all don't wear my hair like that. And so I would prefer a millimeter or so stage right or stage left because I pull my hair that way. Maybe I don't like the lines. Maybe I want the diamonds that Ifrad did for Sophia's locks that made them so amazing. Her traditional locks are diamond shapes and they're beautiful. And the locks lay different and she gets a whole nother level of fullness because they're not in rows. Maybe we do need one of you beautiful creative minds out there to come up with the diamond lock. That's going to be the name. I'm giving it to you. It's called the Diamond Lock. And it's a series of grids that have diamond shapes. So the locks lay differently. And we don't have the bareness that you see when you get that pluck chicken look that I'm always talking about. There's a way to avoid the pluck chicken look. Get rid of the Sisterlocks grid. And if you get rid of the Sisterlocks grid, you don't need the damn tool. Okay, it's called the Diamond Lock. So now we start recognizing that we need competition in the marketplace, and no one person can monopolize the market when people start to wake up. They can monopolize the market when people are ignorant and when people don't know any better and when people don't stand in their power and when they're afraid and they let people take advantage of them. She's busy, the brand, not her, whoever her is, the brand has shut people down from talking. It's made people afraid. How are you going to let somebody make you afraid to talk about what the hell you do with your own hair? That's like somebody telling me what type of underwear I can wear. I'm not having it, and neither are you. And that's why you need to sign up for the SLocks for Change movement in the description. Click on the little arrow. Click on it and sign up for it. because it's time for you to free yourself from the tyranny of hair oppression. That's what we did when we stopped using the curling irons and the relaxers, but we didn't trade one box to get in another box. Now we in another box where we're not free. That's not right. That's like the people who left the Bible or Islam to go run to the New Age movement. That's stupid. Why are you going to get in another box and you're going to let them fill your head up with all this nonsense that doesn't make sense? Now you're in a twin flame relationship that's dysfunctional, just like the narcissistic relationship somebody was in before with that they didn't call a twin flame relationship. It's time for you to redefine your reality. It's time for you to decide what a twin flame relationship is. It's time for you to decide what your hair care story is going to be. It's time for you to decide what the difference is between prophetic wisdom and a psychic. You don't get to let somebody tell you what that is because they're in their little box. No, you get to do what makes sense for you. It's time to start thinking. I'm all about thinking. When I was running my school years ago, I used to always pose this question to my students. It came from the movie The Edge. Why do people die in the wilderness? People die in the wilderness because they give up the only thing that could have saved their lives, thinking. That's why people die in the wilderness. They don't die because they got chased down by the bear. They don't die because the elements kill them. They don't die because they can't kill a huge bear and take its coat off, skin it, and wear it to stay warm. They don't die because they can't rub two sticks together and make a fire. They don't die because they can't find a magnifying glass to absorb the heat of the sun and create a fire. That's not why they die. They die because they don't think. You are dead when you don't think. When you let somebody else think for you and you become a cattle, they can lead you to slaughter. And I promise you, they will lead you to slaughter. So we are living in times of transparency. It's time to get out of that stupid box you've been in. It's time to start thinking. I want you today to send this video to somebody who doesn't want to think. I want you to send this video to somebody who's walking around with Sisterlocks and believes that because they have Sisterlocks, they're better than somebody that has Microlocks. I'm tired of hearing that too. When I first came into this community and met all you beautiful sisters, I couldn't understand why people said what they said about people that had Sisterlocks. Because I'm like, those beautiful, wonderful women that contact me, they're wonderful. They're not stuck up. They're not sadiddy. They don't think they're better than anybody. I'm here to tell you, if your hair is what makes you feel better than somebody, you got a serious problem. That means you ain't got nothing inside of you that's worth a damn. If your hair makes you hold your head up and makes you look at somebody else who doesn't have quote-unquote Sisterlocks and you think you're better than them, you got another thing coming. You're a weak individual. And there's really nothing exciting about you at all. I'm here to stand up for thinking. I'm here to stand up for the brand where it needs to be stood up for. But I'm also here to balance. To bring balance to the discussion because there's been no balance. Sisterlocks are no different than any other locks. If you want to go and you don't want to pay these outrageous fees, have someone put Microlocks in your hair. If you don't mind paying the fees and they want to charge you the same amount, because in reality they should. If it's the same thing, it's going to take the same amount of time, right? The issue is let them know what you want. With Sisterlocks, you can't tell them what you want. You can't even tell them that this tool breaks my hair off or snags my hair. Some of you are saying this tool snags your hair. It's not snagging mine, but it may snag yours. I have thicker locks. And this is the tool that you want them to use. Or maybe you want them to use a Nappy Locks tool, but you can't get them to do it because your loctician is in the box just like you are. And she believes that if she uses this tool or uses another tool, somebody's going to sue her. So drop the Sisterlocks name and just say, do you do Microlocks? If you do Microlocks, can I tell you what kind of grid I want you to use? Can I tell you the tool I want you to use to do my locks? Maybe it's going to be the diamond lock. Maybe it'll be the grid lock. I'm bringing on Crystal. She's going to talk to us more about that over the next several weeks. She's got a huge academy that's growing. We need to support her. Get out of the box. If somebody told me these weren't Sisterlocks, I don't give a shit. I'll tell you they are because I paid Sisterlock money, but I use any tool I want to use on my locks because they're my hair. These ultimately are Microlocks. Sisterlocks is a particular type of Microlock. Period. End of discussion. Nothing else to be said. But we need many more of our gifted cosmetologists and beauticians and locticians to start coming up with their own brand. From what I understand, there was more recently a lawsuit regarding that, which did not stand up in a court of law, and it cannot stand up in a court of law. It's like Coca-Cola saying Pepsi can't do what the hell it wants to do. RC can't do what the hell it wants to do because Coca-Cola has a dark soda with carbon and sugar in it. They don't get to monopolize the market. Nobody gets to do that anymore. We have choices. So give yourself a choice. Get your R's out of the box, y'all. This is real talk, real issues with Tanisha Ali. I'm tired of playing with people. I'm tired of playing, and I'm tired of hearing sisters communicate to me on this channel and not be able to see through the veil or feel like they can't speak up. It's not about your loctician. You have excellent locticians. You have trainees that do better work than locticians. It's not about what they're doing. It's about their practices. If you have a loctician that values her clients, she's going to listen to her clients, whether she's doing Sisterlocks or something else, right? A really good loctician is not going to let you complain about a painful retightening and not make an effort to adjust her policies and the way she operates her business so that she can please her customers. If a loctician does that, she's a sorry behind business person, period. And I can promise you that type of individual is not in service to God. They are not in service to you. They are in service to themselves and the bottom line and taking your money. That's what you should be worried about. You should be worried about if they are not listening to you or they have an attitude with you giving them feedback, they got a problem. They got an ethical problem. They got a moral problem. They have a human problem. Okay, and you should get as far away from them as you can, because if they'll do that with your locks, they'll cheat you in money and they'll cheat you in everything else. It's like I used to tell my students in the classroom, if you lie, you'll cheat. If you cheat, you'll steal. And if you steal, you'll kill. And I don't mean that literally in every situation. What I'm saying is a type of person that does a thing a certain way that speaks to characters and principles will likely violate those same types of principles and character necessities in other relationships as well. If I cheat you for tutoring and I cut off 10 minutes off of every hour and I'm charging you $30 to $70 an hour, and I can do that, I will also put a false advertisement out. I will also argue with you when you tell me I owe you for a session from 3 weeks ago and I won't do my due diligence and check, because I'm a sorry business person, I'm unethical, and I'm immoral, and I'm only concerned about the money. That's why you have to take a look at the ethical and moral fiber of the person that you are working with. And if you come into the realization that this person is not a good person, then you run for the hills. So the issue is not the brand. The issue is the individual who's doing the work. And those are the people that you have to hold accountable by voting with your feet, because it's not about the brand. It's about how they do business. So you have to sound off. You have to raise awareness. You have to keep telling them. You have to keep telling them. You have to keep telling them. You have to tell your friends to tell them when they go in to get their appointments, so that the person gets so tired of hearing it that they either make a change or they accept the consequence of not making a change, which is what? Losing your clientele. Nobody is guaranteed anything in this life. We attract who we are. That's the law of attraction. If you're a bad business person, you're going to attract shysters into your shop. If you're a decent human being that's honest, that's trying to live by higher ideals and sincerity, those are the people that you will attract into your life. The person's shop that you are attracted to, do your due diligence. Follow your heart. If you have concerns, speak your concerns to those people. You are always being guided by divine consciousness, by God, by the Lord, by source, whatever you want to call it. And you're always being pulled towards the experiences that you need to have in order to help you grow your life. Every opportunity you have is helping you to grow your life. Talking about this and this is helping me to grow my life in other ways, because it reminds me, if I feel this way about my locks, then I have to feel the same way about my relationships. I have to feel the same way about how I run my business. And it reminds me not to be tempted by people who come to me and ask me to do things that are against my value system, that I believe are wicked, that I believe are misuse of the gifts that God gave me. It reminds me not to be pulled in by that for a dime. And I'm going to say the same thing to you, and I'm going to tell you to start having these discussions with your locticians and be serious about this stuff, because today's hero is not the person riding off into the sunset with a cape. Today's hero is not Superman flying through the air or Wonder Woman taking that thing off her head and slinging it. You are today's hero. It's the average so-called everyday person who is striving for high ideals and does their best to make this world a better place, and that is you. So I want you to remember that. If you have an idea for another type of microlock, get it out there, package it, sell it, create your own tool, or use one of these generic tools that are already out here. Let us know. Make us aware in this marketplace that we have other options, that the way that we may be supporting may not be serving us. If Coca-Cola is making a product that is causing people to become diabetic, and I sit by and I don't do anything about it, and Coca-Cola doesn't hire a research team that begins to research some of the ill effects of their products, I don't have a choice. Either I can take them to court, I can do a class action suit, I can send letters, I can complain to the Better Business Bureau. Eventually, though, at the end of the day, what do I have to do? It's like I always say, you got to vote with your feet. You got to walk. You got to take your business somewhere else. And until we start taking our business somewhere else, nobody's going to listen to us. Last time I was told we couldn't get a video that was more than 20 years old from the spokespeople from that company. Why is that? Are you not invested to the tune of $10,000 or more if you've had these locks for several years? You don't deserve to get some updated information. You don't deserve some redress. You don't deserve some explanation as to why there are not certain things that are being talked about in the community. Of course you do. Don't you care about yourself? Don't you love yourself? Don't you deserve better? Then let's say we deserve better, and let's live like we deserve better. Sign up for the SLocks Movement for Change. That's the new hashtag. It's in the description. Start using it on social media. Make sure you link it back to this channel. Start giving your information in that form so that we can get in touch with you, so that if the time comes and we have enough power in numbers, you have power in numbers, that we can say, wait a minute, this is not right, then we can do that, and we know how to get in touch with you, all right? It's not about pointing the finger. It's about what's right. How would you feel if you lost all your locks and somebody told you it was because your loctician was committed to doing your locks in 2 to 3 hours, when in fact she needed to take 6 hours, and you needed to pay maybe a little more if that's what's required? I don't know. Again, that's an independent business owner decision. That's not left up to you, nor is it left up to the brand. It's left up to the individual, and oftentimes it can be based on supply and demand. Prices have to go up when you have too many clients. I can't deal with all the clients that I have, so I have to raise my price. Why? Because I have to weed out all the clientele that's coming in and only take certain people, because I can only take a certain amount, right? So the issue, that's an economic issue. That's a whole nother situation. But if you had lost your hair, how would you feel? Do you know what it's like to lose your hair in a way that could have been avoided? But because your voice is not heard and people are not educated enough to know what proper practices are or what the variation of needs are for everybody's hair, because people are not aware of that you lost your hair and you spend 15 years trying to grow it back and it took you 15 years to grow it, do you think that feels good? Heck no, it doesn't feel good. And we should want for our brother what we want for ourselves, right? Want for your brother what you want for yourself, and stand up and do the right thing. Make sure you get my book, Manifesting Your Masterpiece. It's on Amazon. Get it for somebody for a Christmas gift. All right, it's an excellent Christmas gift. Also, you can buy a reading or a chakra session for someone you love. It can be done at a distance. It doesn't have to be done on site. You can also get it done on site, but there are too many services that you can buy. You got somebody struggling with some mental health issues or some relationship issues, get them a reading. Okay, get them a reading so that they can get a counseling and healing session. Much love to you, much light to you. You are a beautiful soul. If you made it all the way to the end of this, please make sure in the comment section you write made it to the end. If you share this video, please write share this video. Okay, lots of love to you. Mwah.